What exactly do all of these controls and buttons and dials do? My name is Nancy, I'm your photography teacher, and although I have tons of videos on how to choose your manual mode exposure settings, aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, there are some folks out there who need help understanding which of these dials do they adjust in order to get those settings dialed in. So let's go over that now on this Nikon. Don't worry, I'm also going to talk about Canon and dive right in. Starting here with shutter speed and working our way to ISO. On a Nikon camera, shutter speed is controlled by this rear dial here, right up at the top. Now, don't let this get confused for the mode dial. As long as you're in manual mode here, you will have the option to change all of these settings. So looking at my shutter speed rear dial here, as I turn this dial, you will notice my shutter speed is changing just like that. Let's move right along to aperture. So remember that aperture is a hole inside of your lens that opens and closes. So it's actually really easy on a Nikon to remember that this front dial here, right next to the lens, controls your aperture. So when I turn this around, now I'm gonna go ahead and turn this front dial here. You will see that my aperture number is changing. Now, if your aperture is not going to the f value that you want, perhaps it's getting stuck at f4.5 or f3.5, that's because your lens doesn't go that low. So there's nothing wrong with your camera. It just means that the lens you have on, the aperture doesn't open as wide as f1.8. So you need a different lens. Last is our ISO. Now, if you have questions about your camera, this is the place to be, so make sure you're following me. Most cameras will have an ISO button on them somewhere. Mine is right here. Yours might be on the top of your camera. It might be on the back of the camera. But all you have to do is hold down that ISO button and move the rear dial. When you do that, you will change your ISO numbers. Something else that I wanted to tell you though is if you hold down the ISO and you turn that front dial that controls aperture, you're going to be putting your ISO in and out of auto ISO. So that's how you change your exposure triangle settings on a Nikon. Now, for a Canon, there are two dials. So on a Canon, you do have a rear dial here, and then you have a dial on the top. This is called the main dial. So the main dial at the top controls your shutter speed, and then the rear dial, also known as the quick control dial, is what is going to control your aperture. That's all for this video. I will see you in the comment section or in my courses or on my website or on YouTube, anywhere else, but I'll see you in the next video for sure.